Thanksgiving and a Friday game? This week could be very interesting. What's going on, guys? Dick Support here, back to another video. Today we are talking Week 13, and as I said, we have Thanksgiving games to talk about, 3 of them. Let's start with the Bears and the Lions. Alright, I'm going to be blunt here. The Bears need this probably more than anyone this week, because right now, they are struggling. And I'll tell you, I'm glad I've waited to do my playoff thoughts because my opinion of the Bears has changed in the last few weeks. When it comes to this game, give me the Lions. Right now, they are playing like the best team in the NFL. Giants taking on the Cowboys. Cowboys, I don't know how they won against Washington, but they got the win, and that's all that matters. Meanwhile, for the Giants, looks like Tommy DeVito's starting didn't go as planned. Give me the Cowboys. Miami taking on Green Bay. Miami, if you can believe this, if they win this game, they're back to 500. They're 6-6. They get back to 6-6, and they can continue to make a run. Anything goes. Meanwhile, for the Packers, they're 8-3 right now. They are right where they should be, in contention for a wild card spot, and the division is still within reach if somehow the Lions start to fall off a little bit. As for this game, I'm going to go with the Packers over the Dolphins. Raiders taking on Kansas City. Really? This is our Friday game? Kansas City, this has to be a wake-up call for them. Last week needs to be the wake-up call for them. And I've said that before, and I'm sure we've all said it before, but they almost lost to the Panthers last week. The Panthers. That game should not have been as close as it was. If this game is close, I'm deeply concerned for how the Chiefs are going to perform when it's playoff time. I know Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, it doesn't matter. They can't keep getting away with all these close games. They have to stop playing these close games before it comes back to bite them. Give me the Chiefs over the Raiders. And for the love of God, Chiefs, make it a big win. Chargers taking on the Falcons. For the Chargers, it was a tough Monday night loss to the Ravens. However, I still say that this team is a playoff team. They are playing like a playoff team. Alright? They have to keep staying the course. Meanwhile, for the Falcons, they're still in it for this division, but they've got to get a win streak going. Alright? They have got to pick up some wins. I just don't think it happens here. I'm going with the Chargers. Pittsburgh taking on Cincinnati. Cincinnati's coming off a bye, but Pittsburgh also has 10 days of rest. And for Cincinnati, I mean, their offense has been great all year. Alright, there's no doubt about that. Joe Burrow has been playing amazing football. And Jamar Chase, he's the best receiver in the NFL this year. But their defense has not been that good. As for the Steelers, well, they just lost to the Cleveland Browns. And now they play their 3rd straight division game and their 2nd straight on the road. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh over Cincinnati, but this one could be closer than we think. Houston taking on Jacksonville. For Houston, please, do not falter at the end of the season like the Titans did 2 years before, the Jaguars did last year. Please do not. You are being gifted this division. Just take it. Get this win against Jacksonville. Going with the Texans. Get this win. Get back on track. Arizona taking on Minnesota. For Arizona, I mean, that was a tough loss. It was a tough loss to Seattle. They really could have gotten some ground in this division. However, they lost, and now they're tied with the Seahawks for the lead in the division. Meanwhile, for the Vikings, they got the win against the Bears, but it was close. Alright? The Vikings almost blew it, and that just can't happen. They got to take care of business here. They're at home against Arizona. I'm going with the Vikings. Indianapolis taking on New England. For Indianapolis, I mean, you're going up against the Lions. It was a tough game. It really was. Anthony Richardson did not have a great game, and actually the Colts didn't help him out at all on offense. Meanwhile, for the Patriots, they went up against the Dolphins, and it was the same thing. It was just a rough game for them. This one, it is a little tough. The Patriots have been playing better since Drake May's taken over as a starter, but the Colts, I mean, when they're a good team, they are a good team. I'm going to go with Indianapolis over New England on this one. Seattle taking on the Jets. For the Jets, the less said the better. I mean, this season has not been easy for them. It really hasn't. Now Joe Douglas is gone as GM. I don't know what's going to happen with them in the offseason. That's just one of the biggest storylines for the offseason. What are the Jets going to do? Meanwhile, for Seattle, they are now tied with the Cardinals for the division lead. I say they get the win over the Jets and get sole position in first place. Tennessee taking on Washington. Washington, they need this win. All right, they've got to get back in the win column. They have lost 3 games in a row now. And last week, I don't know how they lost that game. They should not have lost that game, and yet they did lose that game. I have no idea what happened in that game last week against the Cowboys. I mean, they just got to put that in the rearview mirror and get this win against Tennessee. Just get this win. Going with the Commanders. Tampa Bay taking on Carolina. For Carolina, I really hope they don't end up with the first overall pick, and then we're having this discussion of whether they go with a quarterback or keep Bryce Young. Because right now, since Bryce Young's taking over as a starter again, he's been playing better football. He has been playing better football. Meanwhile, for Tampa Bay, I mean, they are in it for this division, but they've got to get some wins going. And I go with the Bucs over the Panthers. Rams taking on the Saints. The Rams, they had the Sunday night game against the Eagles, and it did not go well at all. I mean, Saquon Barkley just ran all over them. Saints are coming off a bye. And this is a tough game to pick because the Rams have been so hot and cold this year. I know they've dealt with the injuries, but I mean, they're good one week and then they're bad the next. And for the Saints, I think the less said, the better. As for this game, I'm just going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with the Saints. Philadelphia taking on the Ravens. For Philadelphia, I just mentioned it. Saquon Barkley has just been a beast this season. He's just getting better as the season's going on. He leads the league in rushing. I mean, that was one heck of a signing by the Philadelphia Eagles. Meanwhile, for the Ravens, I mean, Derrick Henry is second in the league in rushing. And he had another great game against the Chargers. Even though he didn't get in the end zone, it was still a really good game, and that was a great team win by Baltimore altogether. It's exactly what they needed coming off the Steelers game, and it's going to be a tough one, but I'm going to go with the Eagles over the Ravens. San Francisco taking on Buffalo in the Sunday night game. San Francisco, I mean, it was a rough game for them. That game wasn't even close against the Packers. And now they really do need this game because they are behind both the Seahawks and the Cardinals for the division. And meanwhile, for the Bills, I mean, winning against the Chiefs, if the Chiefs lose another game and the Bills win the rest, I mean, they have the number 1 seed. It's about as simple as that. So for the Bills, this is a big-time game for them, as will every other game for the rest of the year. If they can win out and somehow the Chiefs lose another game, Buffalo's going to have themselves the first seed, and that's the important thing right now. This race for the number 1 seed is going to be very important. And I'm going to go with the Bills over the 49ers. And our Monday night game is going to be Cleveland taking on Denver. For Cleveland, they got a great win against the Steelers on Thursday night. In the snow, no less. I mean, that field was covered by the end of the game. And Cleveland, they came out on top. And now they're facing off against a Denver team that just seems to get better as the season goes on. And Bo Nix, he's slowly becoming... Right now, he's playing better than Jaden Daniels has the last few weeks. And I mean that. He really has been. Been playing very good football. And I mean, Denver's got the inside track to make the playoffs. Same thing with the Chargers. They keep playing like they have been playing the last few weeks. They will make the playoffs. And for this game, I got to go with the Broncos over the Browns. Alright guys, those were my picks for this upcoming week. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.